taking into mind what I mentioned before, I can guess that some of you are already imagining what this was in the past. Another old convent, of course, there were so many of them. This one was the Jesuit college. The Portuguese Jesuit order of priests was an order of knowledge, and they were invited here to the Azores in the 16th century to be the masters, the teachers of the wealthy family's sons, and to teach them. They stayed here until the 18th century because they were an order of knowledge. They got expelled out of Portugal and terminated before all the others. Did anyone already visited Lisbon? Nope. There's a famous character in Lisbon, the prime minister responsible for rebuilding it after it was all destroyed by an earthquake in 1755. A very important character of the Portuguese history, this prime minister that did all that reconstruction and replanned the whole city of Lisbon, but he was also a tyrant. So he eliminated all kinds of competition, including cutting off the heads of many aristocracy families and expelling the Jesuits in 1760. Like most churches around here, and you may notice this not so much with the first one we visit, but maybe with the second. It got overlaid a facade during the Baroque period. As you can see, it doesn't align too well with the tower behind it and the old part of the building. This was imposed to the structure because during the 18th and the first half of the 19th century, we were doing pretty well here in the Azores with a very important orange production that was being fetched by many countries in Europe, but mostly to send that orange for the British Islands. So that made local landowners, people that were very wealthy, and a lot of the monumental buildings that you find nowadays, and that's why someone was asking me what's the age of these buildings around us. I didn't mention it, but a lot of the monumental buildings are, you can normally guess it, buildings like this one from that period of the 1700s and first half of the 1800s. Yes, I was about to mention that if you look through the reeds, you will recognize the shape. Yes, but this is not the Canadian maple, it's another species of maple in Latin English. It's Azores Europa. Something to your speed of walking. You know, a little like a herd of turtles. The last one of the rock. Well, you're very perceptive. You look around a lot.
Don't forget to thumb up the video.
Our first governor, Gonçalves Cabral, came with the first settlers to this island in 1444. He governed the islands. At least 2 or 3 of you already asked me this today, if there were any people living on these islands before the Portuguese. That we know of, no. Though this is something that is pretty much in the air, as if there was any people who settled on these islands before the Portuguese. We are not that sure. We do have some archaeological sites, but up until today they can simply be explained by people who were lost at sea and found these islands as a last refuge. A little bit like Tom Hanks and his friend the Wilson Volleyball. You remember that movie? So even amongst specialists, they are not in agreement, and this is nowadays being studied more and more, because not so long ago you could not mention this, especially to authorities. No one wanted to hear about anyone settling these islands before the Portuguese. These were proudly ours. And you don't want by any chance think that, for example, the Vikings were here before us, and having the Danish saying, okay, so those islands are ours and not yours. There's always this, it's always a hard issue, but nowadays, fortunately, scientists have been finding the funds and the ways to, and they're studying, but it's still pretty much in the air, so I don't have a straight answer. That we don't know of, no. So this gentleman was the first governor to these islands, even though there was plenty of knowledge of the presence of the islands in this part of the Atlantic before the arrival of the Portuguese. Behind him, we have the doors to the city that used to work as doors. Remember when we first started, when we were by St. Peter's Church, I mentioned there's this new facade to the city because this avenue, especially this section here, was only finished in the 60s. Then we took over a little bit more when we built the cruise ship dock already in 2011, and it kind of hit the historical center. Before, those doors were next to a building over there on the corner, and they really worked as doors because in front of it was a ramp. And this area here, all of this square where we are at, was already water up until the 1920s. This square was buried in the 30s and the 40s. Fortunately, at the time, when building the new buildings, they kept the trace, because these buildings are from the middle of the 20th century almost, but they have these arches. They respected a little bit the trace, the scenery that they had already around it. And then the historical center behind there. We have St. Sebastian's Church, the main church for the city of Ponta Delgada, a home of the parish of St. Sebastian, and a church that has a tower with a very interesting story. Ponta Delgada was attacked during the First World War in July of 1917, and this was the tallest structure. But they didn't brought it down and rebuild it afterwards. This tower was camouflaged during the war. And my question is, how do you do such a thing? How do you accomplish to camouflage a tower such as this? Have any idea? A blue sky? Well, you're lucky today because it's blue, but this morning was gray.
Okay. Painted.
Pretty much what they painted. If I was able to just rise all of us a little bit, you would see that behind there's a little bit like a staircase effect of a sequence of rooftops and windows. So they pretty much draw the lines of the city following the U-boats and German submarines that were more close. They had to stay away because if not, they would shoot them down. But at the distance, they were able to reproduce pretty much those rooftops and the lines of windows and on the facade. The only person that got killed, which was known as a very fair lady in the city, a very beautiful lady. So we go that way because of the cheese shop. Nonetheless, if anyone wants, but please do follow me.
Ponta Delgada, Portugal, guys.
Para de gravar.
Shit.
Isso é perigo.
Não está gravando até aí.
Para de gravar.
Okay, guys, let me conclude my video, my walkabout around Porto Delgada, Portugal. Don't forget to thumbs it up, tell a friend, please subscribe to next video. I'll holla. Peace from Portugal.